And good morning. Welcome into the show, live and local, Real Talk. I'm Rayford Brown.
And I'm Kelly Knapp.
And I'm Lee Barrows.
And we're kicking off. It's a fabulous Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or finally
Wonder-
Friday.
Yeah,
TGIF.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Football night, cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
Not as cold as it was the night before, but, it was down in, it actually topped out, got down to 40 this morning at my house. It was a
Mhm.
little higher than that at 4 o'clock. It's 43 at 4 o'clock, dropped to
Nice.
40 at 5 o'clock. So
It's
weird.
40 now, according to this.
Yeah. So anyway, how are you ladies doing?
Good.
Yeah, we got a
Doing great.
got a really packed show this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we
Again,
did.
we've got coming in about a half hour. Jerome Willingham, he's a former Jacksonville City Councilman. He's going to defend his position and tell why the ward system here in Jacksonville should stay in place. There is a suit, a federal suit, by a local gentleman, and a number of others have signed on for it to try to change that back to an at-large election, or at least redraw the district line so that they actually apply to the number of voters that normally vote in certain wards.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get into that about a half hour from now. And let's see, we're also going to be talking with a gentleman from Community Outreach, Onslow Outreach, about some activities, and they're also run the Christmas cheer program and the soup kitchen and
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of housing and other projects. So he's going to be in at 8 o'clock this morning. So we'll have a chat with him. And I'm expecting a call in just a minute or two, hopefully, about the Dancing Stars, which that is tomorrow night.
It is.
Yeah, man, that
Absolutely.
sneaked up on me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, because I know somebody who's dancing. I know two people who are dancing, husband and wife team this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Candy Brown Thompson, and she
Mhm.
gets the Brown from me.
Mm-hmm.
She finally agreed to dance, so
Mhm.
she's been running that program, but she's not doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been running it since its inception. I think 2012 was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So this should be pretty good. She and her husband Marty has been dancing in it since 2018. I think he told me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So anyway,
They're remarkable people.
raised a whole bunch of money for
Do a
the
lot for this community.
women's
Mhm.
shelter. So that's looking forward, Marty. And they do it through donations as well. So Marty's going to be a shameless, selfless plug for he and Candy. Hopefully, he'll be calling in. I sent him a message. And let's see, coming up tomorrow, one of the folks that we know fairly well, John Jones,
Mhm.
songwriter, award-winning songwriter.
Is that Earl Jones?
That's Earl Jones' son, guitar player. He's
Wow.
going to be performing on stage at the Rudy Theater in Selma, North Carolina tomorrow,
Awesome.
along with country music sensation Allison Radcliffe.
Mm.
You can call and get tickets right away, 919-202-9927. 919-202-9927. John is he's a remarkable artist, all-around guy. I've seen him pick up just when we were doing a Music Monday program in here a few years ago. John would come in and he would just accompany some of the other musicians.
Mhm.
Never played with them, never played their song, never did anything like that. And he'd just start and pick up and start playing the guitar. And just it was a great mix, especially when they didn't have like a full band with them. He would
Yeah.
always fill in.
There was somebody in here playing the banjo the other day. It was
Yeah.
really good.
You get a lot of that stuff. Okay, now that's some of the stuff that we're looking at. Now I'm going to go to Oklahoma. A freak
Mm-hmm.
who murdered his daughter was finally brought to justice yesterday. He's gone on to a place that he will suffer for eternity.
Mm-hmm.
Benjamin Cole, who was 57, was executed for killing his 9-month-old daughter 20 years ago. His time of death, 10:22 yesterday morning, Oklahoma time. In case any of you bleeding heart liberals out there are feeling sorry for this piece of crap, let me explain how he murdered his infant daughter. Kelly, you
Mm.
ready to get your squad going?
I know how he did it. and
He
I-
picked her up,
Mhm.
bent her backwards so far that he ruptured her aorta.
Good Lord.
Do you know what the aorta is?
Yes.
Yes.
The largest blood vessel in the body.
Mhm.
This artery is responsible for transporting oxygen-rich blood from your heart to the rest of your body. He bent her over so far that he ruptured the aorta. Attorneys did what they could to say this scum's life, as useless as he was. A lot of time, energy, and money wasted. They claimed that he was mentally ill, not necessarily at the time that he murdered his infant daughter. They said he had a growing lesion on his brain that had worsened in recent years. The lesion was separate from his diagnosis of paranoid schizophrenia. The lesion wasn't there when he murdered his daughter. That should never have been allowed to be used as an argument to keep the scum alive. He's dead. Good riddance. Should have occurred 19 years ago, 1 year after he killed her. Now, go back even further than that. He served time in California for child abuse. He served time. They gave him prison time years ago for child abuse.
Yep.
His daughter had numerous abrasions, bruises, this infant daughter that he killed. 9 months old. Why did he kill her? Because he was playing a video game and she was crying and she wouldn't stop.
Selfish individual.
I'm telling you,
Mean.
I could do so much with my bare hands to that guy. I'm glad he's gone.
Yeah.
So scum of the earth, dirt
Yep,
bag.
yep, yep.
Where was the mom?
I
I
don't
think I've
know.
ever read, and
I've
I've
never
looked
read
where
anything
she
about it.
was.
Police up there in New Jersey have finally recovered a body in the search for missing Princeton University scholarship student, Ms. Rock Uwinati or something, 6 days after she vanished on her way home from an event. Uwinati, 20, was last seen about 3 o'clock in the morning on October 14th. That was last Friday morning. The Mercer County Prosecutor's Office said Thursday afternoon that an employee, I'm trying to picture this now, that an employee discovered her body outside on the facility's grounds near the tennis courts.
Yeah.
Something is just rotten in Denmark.
Mm-hmm.
They said there were no obvious signs of injury, and her death does not appear suspicious or criminal in nature. Thank God an autopsy is going to be performed. She volunteered to help with after-hours housekeeping duties after a live music event sponsored by one of the clubs on campus. The family notified the school last Sunday after not having any contact with her for a couple of days. They said that was very unusual. It's just wrong. Missing, and her body is found by a school employee on school grounds. No one noticed she was gone. No one else. No roommates called. No other students called the police. They didn't
Little
notify
strange.
school administration. Not until her parents did on Sunday, 2 days later.
Oh, look, if it was my child, I would know. I'd be out there hunting for
Oh,
it too.
absolutely. Sliding over to Georgia, the mother and grandmother of a missing 20-month-old baby were spotted downing shots and flirting with the staff of a popular bar this week.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw that. too.
Lelani Simon is the mother of Quentin Simon, the baby who mysteriously disappeared in the early morning hours of October 5th. While she and her mom were having a grand old time, a contingent of law enforcement personnel going through a landfill where they think they'll find the baby's body. The mother is listed as a prime suspect in what investigators are certain is a murder. Maybe they're just having a last fling, knowing that she was going to prison. They're searching a specific area of the landfill based on suspicions that the youngster's body was likely dumped into a specific dumpster, that's what they call it, that was hauled to the area of the landfill. They have not revealed the exact details of intel that led them to that conclusion. Mom and grandma racked up a $300 tab at the bar, calling lots of attention to themselves, acting the fool, laughing, carrying on.
I'm sorry, but if my child was missing, I certainly wouldn't be at the bar doing shots.
Nope.
What
Certainly
an
not.
idiot.
Other patrons were a little bit ticked off, according to the bartender. And while they were out, there were protests going on at the mom's home.
Yeah, a lot of people are unhappy with that
Oh,
mom I've read.
yeah.
Yeah, just
Oh,
in
yeah.
general, not even because this has added more to it. Yeah.
While most Americans found the COVID pandemic a bit of a financial strain, while businesses were shutting their doors, while shortages of toilet paper and so many other products hampered our lifestyles, it wasn't all gloom and doom for some of our government workers. According to a Wall Street Journal investigation, I love the Wall Street Journal investigations, by the way, U.S. officials working on the government's COVID plan made well-timed financial trades when the pandemic began. The trades were executed both when the markets fell and when they rose. 240 federal officials at health agencies and at the Pentagon, I was a player in the vaccine rollout, you'll recall, reported owning a total of between $9 million and $228 million in stocks of drug manufacturing and biotechnology companies that won COVID-related federal contracts in 2020 and 2021. I smell a rotten rat.
Mhm.
The health agencies didn't respond to requests for comment. The Pentagon said that most of its employees don't work on matters affecting large defense contractors or private companies' finances, and that it's committed to preventing conflicts of interest. I'm from the government, and I'm here to help you. Watch out. Good morning. I think I know who this is.
This will be Marty Thompson.
Hello, Marty Thompson.
Good morning, Marty.
AKA
How you
son-in-law.
doing?
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Right now. I'm not nervous. But
Oh.
that thing it could change.
We're talking about the Dancing Stars of Onslow County. It's an annual event, been going on since 2012, and Marty's been participating actively as a dancer since 2018. Is that that's the right year? Did I get that right, Marty?
Yes, sir. That was the very first year, rookie year.
Yeah, rookie year. Did very well the rookie year. You did very well raising money every year since then as well. And then now this year it's a little unique. The lady behind all of that, I can claim her as well. Candy. Everybody knows her. She's a diligent worker, works hard as she can for the Onslow Women's Shelter year round, raising money, handling stuff. And she was in charge of this thing all those years, organizing and working her butt off to get things done. And now she's going to be a dancer. Who's her partner?
I don't know who's her partner. Probably a good-looking guy.
Probably some stranger off the street that she saw walking down the street one day.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, you guys are going to make a great team
Yeah.
tomorrow night, and I'm looking forward to being there.
Same.
Well, you would think we would have a lot of intense fellowship sessions during the last few months, but we haven't. We've got along, and she has done everything I pretty much said and walking the line.
That's strange.
Candy, I'm playing. I got to see her later on today. But if anybody out there, they say they'll have tickets at the door. Need to be there at the American Legion building Saturday, 5 o'clock or before, in line to get your tickets. And if you want to donate money, you go to onslowwc.org. Hit on the 2022 dancers. Scroll down. I think to the bottom, and you'll see
Marty and Candy.
Candy's face. No, you'll see Candy's face.
Okay.
You won't see my name or nothing. That's a good thing.
Oh,
And donate money under her name. That's how the People's Choice Award gets
right.
chosen.
Got it.
Who raises the most money?
Well, that's good. You've raised the most money for several years. Your team has.
I had great partners, including this year. Yeah.
Definitely, for sure. Okay, and even at the event tomorrow night, for those who are in attendance, you can still make contributions up until a certain point.
Yes, you can make contributions all the way up to intermission. Then any monies that go in just goes in the general pot after intermission.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but you can contribute to any of your favorite dancers. We encourage you to do that. All the money goes to the same place.
Same great place.
It's and they've raised I don't know how many $1 million now. Lots of money over the years.
Yeah.
So looking to exceed what has been done every year in the past, even during the COVID year, with the virtual in attendance.
The COVID year was the most money raised.
Wow.
Cleared money. We cleared 200,000.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, this year, for those that cannot go in person, you can also go on and pay and watch it from your home or wherever you are. They have pay-per-view. It's on the website. I'm looking at it right now. So if you cannot go out in person to watch it, you can watch it through pay-per-view.
Or you just don't feel comfortable going out in
some
person.
people don't want to go.
So anyway,
several ways to see it.
Yes, several ways to see it, several ways to send the money, and that will be the good thing. Send the money.
Spend the money
Yeah.
because
Right.
Candy wants to win.
Yeah, I know she does. She's been very quiet about that.
Oh, yeah.
Mysteriously quiet about it. It's it's gonna be good. It'll be a good performance too. It's always a great performance. Enjoy it. So,
Yes, a lot of people, even a couple from New York, upstate New York, is flying in today
yeah, some
to
of your
come watch
friends.
her dance.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's good.
It's going to be a big time. She's put a lot of time and effort in these dances. I think she picked up quicker than I picked up the very first year, and I think she'll surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, she won't surprise me because I just know what kind of dedication she has to any project she does.
Of course, she is a ham, and we all know that. So she'll
Well,
just
she gets that
liven
from
up the
you.
stage.
They
Oh,
feed off
yeah,
each
I know.
other. Yeah.
No doubt about that one.
Mhm.
It's going to be a fun time.
It will
It
be a
will
fun
be,
time.
yeah.
All right. Showtimes at well, they got food at what 6 o'clock, and then doors open at 5, and the showtimes at 7. Is that correct?
5 o'clock, 5:45 is happy hour. 5:45 to 6:45, you'll eat.
Okay.
6:45, the show starts. We'll probably, and if you didn't know this, Candy and I will be the very first ones on stage.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
We're going to open up the stage. I just want to put this out there, a little junk talking. I'm hoping other teams are listening. You better not let a guy that just had a heart attack 5 weeks ago win this thing, or you'll never hear the end of it.
I love it.
That would be you.
That will be me.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, don't have one tomorrow
No
night.
pressure.
Lord, you're gonna make us all nervous now.
Should I bring a bottle of O2? Keep it on hand.
If I fall out just playing, everybody's going.
No. Well, I got nitro on me. I'm gonna cram it down your throat, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, I'm looking. You two are the leader right now in raising money.
Mhm.
You go.
I'm hoping that stays, but a lot of people sandbag.
Yeah.
I've
They
known
do.
people to sandbag to the last second.
Yeah.
Well, what's up with Mayor John Davis? 0. What's up with that? I need
Maybe
to call
he's
him
sa-
today.
he's sandbagging.
He's sandbagging. That's what
They
he's doing.
sandbagging.
No.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, he's going to come in.
I don't believe none of their numbers.
Yeah.
I'm calling him today.
No. All right.
I'm gonna find out the scoop. I'll let you know.
I believe like all those are all the other people are politicians. I don't believe none of them.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Marty. Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow night,
You got
5
that.
o'clock.
All right.
See you there.
You take care. Marty Thompson, a dancing star.
Mhm.
Well, he's a previous dancing star. Now he's listed as a
He's
pro.
the
He's the
professional.
professional now
Yes,
instead of
yeah.
so
Of
much.
course, he's a pro now.
All right, we're going to take a break, do a little bit of weather. Coming back at 7:30, we'll have another visitor in the studio here, Jerome Willingham. So stay tuned for that. You're live, and if you got some questions you want to ask, observations you want to make, feel free to do so. Jerome will be glad to take calls since he's in the studio and not on the phone. He can do that. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. If you're an experienced fisherman and you are willing to donate a half day of your life to welcome home returning Marines who have been deployed for the last 6 months, stand up and say, "You bet your sweet backside." Tideline Marine is putting together a group of anglers with boats who want to say thank you to these young men and women in a way that hasn't been done before. And Tideline wants to make this a regular biannual event. Want to know more? Call George down at Tideline Marine or check out Tideline's Facebook page. It's happening next Tuesday. George has already confirmed a bunch of Tideline's pro anglers, as well as at least 4 of the staff who will be taking these heroes fishing for a day. Want to join the fun? Call him today. You won't remember the number, just remember the name. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Best idea for a joint community service I've heard of in a long time. Picture perfect boating weather. Finally, we're back to coastal Carolina fall weather. Today, northeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas only 2 to 3 feet, dominant period 7 seconds, sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 30, seas 3 to 5, except 2 to 3 near shore, dominant period 7 seconds, sounds and rivers a little choppy. Sunday, northerly winds 15 to 20 with gusts up to 25, seas 4 to 5 feet, except 2 to 3 near shore. And some of that you're going to explain why that Sunday forecast is looking not so good.
Today, sunny, high of 71. Tonight, clear, low of 45. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, high of 73. And tomorrow, the winds will gust back up again with gusts as high as 16 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, there is a chance of showers. I'm getting ready to tell you why. Otherwise, increasing, mostly cloudy, a low of 55, but gusts again to Saturday night. And on Sunday, mostly cloudy, high of 68, with gusty winds as high as 18 miles an hour. There is some type of weather,
A low pressure system.
yeah, low pressure system developing off our coast that could bring very heavy rain Saturday into Sunday, and it's going to go. It's only for the
Immediate coastal
area going all the way up into New England, but it's going to stay. But it's going to, be very windy, rough surf, rip currents, and the rain arrival times, according to this, will be Saturday. The rain will start in our area, and then it just goes up because by late Sunday, it's going to be up into Massachusetts. But according to this, it's a tropical rainstorm. That's what they're calling it. And it could be very heavy rain.
It's kind of like a wave coming off Africa.
Kind of, yeah. But it's just forming
they
up
start out
here.
as low pressure systems,
yeah.
and then they kind of build.
Yeah.
But this one's not going to build.
No, it's just going to do it. It's just going to low and stay low.
All right, day one of the voting, early
yes.
voting here in Onslow County. Had a total of 1,513 votes cast yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
1,500 of you guys went out there yesterday. to
And
cast
right
your ballots.
now, as of October 15th, we have a total of 117,820 registered voters here in Onslow County.
Wow.
So we had less than 1%. Well, we had about 1% come out yesterday.
Okay. And hopefully, I we'll talk about it during the next hour because
Yes.
hopefully we'll have Jerome in here in just a minute or so. But we want to talk about some stuff that's going around.
Some shenanigans.
about to bring it up,
Shenanigans.
yeah.
Yes.
Some silly shenanigans are
Yeah,
happening,
yeah.
and the Board of Elections, the North Carolina Board of Elections, has put out a notice. If you get like Kelly got,
I got one.
you got in the mail, you
Mhm.
got this thing out there. It was very deceptive. It said, "Hey, you haven't voted in 2018, 2020, or something like
2018 said I had not voted in the 2018 midterm. I certainly did.
that." And
My husband
We know
ran.
you did.
My husband was running
That's
for
right.
commissioner that time. I absolutely did.
well,
I ripped it up and threw it in the trash. I should have kept it. Now it's in my outside garbage can.
that's with the snakes down there.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
don't want to go get it, right?
The maggots or whatever is in there.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa.
So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Serious.
if you get some of this stuff in the mail,
Mhm.
pay no attention to
Throw-
it.
throw
all
that mess
If
in the
you want to
trash.
check it, the Board of
Uh-huh.
Elections tells you how to do it.
Mhm.
You can just go to the North Carolina Board of Elections site,
Mhm.
ncsbe.com,
Right.
and you'll find something that says voter search.
Mhm.
Put your name in if you want to narrow it down to just whatever county, in case your name happens to be like Jim Jones.
Mhm.
You can narrow it down to all the Jim Jones and only Onslow County if you so desire.
Mhm.
But if you can do that, and after you get to your name, it'll tell you all the basic information about you that's
Right.
public. Then you scroll down and it goes to voting history.
That's right.
And you can click on that and it'll tell you every election
Mhm.
since day one that you voted in. And it'll tell you not how you voted, unless it's a primary. It will tell you whether you had a Democrat
Right.
or a Republican ticket. That's it, ballot. And you can verify whether you did vote or not, in case you just have
That's
a
right.
little lapse of memory.
Right.
And if you want to see how Lee voted, you can do the same thing. Same
Well, it's not
information
going to tell
available.
you who I voted for. It's
No,
just going to
no.
tell you during the primary
Yep.
if I voted Republican ticket or Democratic ticket, and then during the midterm elections or the main elections,
whether
general
you
election,
voted.
whether I voted. That's all it tells you.
All right, sounds good.
But it's good to know.
All right, so in case you have some questions and you get some of these silly things in the mail, if you get some of these silly things in the mail that say, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. That's not me. I didn't do that. And then you can say, oh yeah, well, they were wrong. And there are people out there just trying to scam you. There are people out there trying to scam you all the time. We got another one too during the 8 o'clock hour we're going
Yes,
to talk about too.
Definitely. A couple
is-
I'm
things.
definitely gonna
Yes.
bring that one up.
Yeah.
'cause
Oh yeah.
I
'Cause
can't
this
stand
is-
shenanigans.
Yeah, just shenanigans.
And I don't know who's responsible for it. You did a little background on the group.
Yes,
but
I did.
we'll
And
find
I
out.
was out. I worked the polls yesterday for about 4 hours. So I
Mm.
talked to a lot of people too. So I'll tell you about some of the comments
were
I
you
got.
pole dancing yesterday? Is that what you said?
No.
Did you say what?
You
I
always
didn't,
like to
have,
stir up
I didn't have the
trouble.
right shoes on.
Oh, okay.
It's too cold for that. But
Yeah,
Jerome
a little
Willingham.
cold.
Good morning, sir.
Good
How are
morning,
you?
Jerome.
Well, let me get your mic up. There we go. You got your headphones on? Well, maybe. Yep, they're going to choke you like that.
and you mic
Oh.
4.
No.
Oh, okay.
I changed it. Remember? I
Oh,
told
that's
you.
right. I forgot you said that. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, Jerome Willingham, a former citizen of the city of Jacksonville on the city council. I'll get it straight in a minute.
Good Lord.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's Friday.
We're having an issue up here today.
Yeah, I got through all that other stuff, and now this is the easy part. But geez.
Did you say former citizen?
No,
Yeah,
former
he
city
meant
councilman.
force.
Yeah.
He got it straight
He's having
after.
I got it
Afterwards.
straight, but it
Yeah.
took me a while.
It took him a while to
I had
get
to
through
ride
it.
that horse around town. You know what I mean?
I got you.
And I finally came back. Let's get that microphone over to you. So
Right.
that one,
Got right here.
Is that the right one?
It's good.
that's the right one.
Yep.
Jerome, a suit has been filed in federal court for something that you instigated. Let's just put it that way. That's what everybody says. That you brought a suit against the city of Jacksonville back in the 90s, I think it was, when you were a city councilman, right?
Voting Rights Task Force,
Mhm.
and I sort of led the Voting Rights Task Force, but it was a group and it was a class action representing the Black residents of the city of Jacksonville.
Okay. And what was the suit about?
It was about challenging a system of election that had a discriminatory impact.
An at-large election.
At-large system, yes.
How did that have a discriminatory impact?
Well, basically, in the history of the city of Jacksonville,
Mhm.
there hadn't been a Black city council person.
You?
Well, this was after the litigation.
Mhm.
I came after the litigation as a result of the litigation.
Okay.
But what we did was we researched it, and our attorneys, Wharton, Rifkin, from Washington, D.C., we laid out how throughout the South there were systems used to disenfranchise Black voters.
Mhm.
And the at-large system was used when Blacks were in the minority, and when they were in the majority, there were districts.
Okay. I'm not even aware of that part.
It was
So-
throughout the South this was done.
Okay.
And this succeeded. Well, why would you have districts when Blacks were in the majority? So that the whites could be represented.
Mm,
And so that was a pattern throughout the South.
okay.
And this succeeded Jim Crow. This was part of Jim Crow laws. It was, it succeeded the period of poll tax and different overt measures of intimidation to keep Blacks from voting. Because, you know, if you look at the history, Black leaders died over this. Not just Black leaders, white civil rights activists died
Mhm.
over this, just trying to get the right to vote.
Mhm.
Medgar Evers, his house was bombed. And you know the history
I
going
do
through
that. I know that.
Martin Luther King.
Right.
So as there was a protest movement that was successful, the ways of disenfranchising became more sophisticated. It was no longer the poll tax and
Okay.
the intimidation,
And
physical
at
intimidation.
the time you filed this suit
Mhm.
back in the 90s, so you were not on the city council, right?
Correct.
You did vote prior to that, right?
I pretty much voted all my life
Okay.
since the age of 16. Here in
16.
18, I'm sorry. That would have been voted for. I would.
Yeah, we were getting ready to have a chat.
Yeah.
Well, I could not vote when I was 18
And why not?
because it was 21.
Oh, okay.
Really?
You didn't know that.
I did not know
Yeah,
it
it used to be
had
21.
points. I did not know that.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
I didn't either.
Huh.
Anyway, were you intimidated, or did anybody try to keep you from voting in Jacksonville?
We were challenging the discriminatory.
No. When you were voting before this challenge that you had going on, did anybody try when you would go to the polls to vote? You said you've been voting most of your life.
There was no physical intimidation.
No poll tax.
No.
Okay. No. Nothing else that happened to try to discourage you from voting.
No, it was just the system we were challenging.
Okay. So that came about, and in a ward or in a district by law, each one has to be made up of approximately the same number of individuals, right? Not voters necessarily, but voting age people, correct? Population wise.
Correct. About 18,000 per ward in Jacksonville.
And the complaint, the challenge that, as I read it on this law, this suit now, this before the courts, the complaint is that in the ward where you live, how many votes does it take to get elected? How many did it take for you to be elected? People voting for you?
Probably less than 200.
And there are 15,000 people living in that district?
No, there are 18,000.
18,000 people living in that district?
Correct.
Now, you go over to Northwoods or to New River or to Bryn Mawr, we got approximately the same number of individuals in each one of those, right?
Correct.
But how many people does it take, how many voters does it take to get one person elected in each of those districts?
I'm not sure.
A couple thousand?
I've seen less. I've seen maybe, I think the difference in 2017 between Ward 1 and Mr. Bittner's ward was like 300 votes.
Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about total votes, though.
Yeah, the difference was about 300 votes.
That's the difference. But how many did they get? How many votes did they get?
It might have been 700 maybe.
700 votes total?
Yeah, total.
Okay. That was a municipal election year, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Say you get less than 200, and let's say it was 700 or whatever number it was. We can go through and pull it up and add it up, I'm
Mhm.
sure. Does that seem quite right? You're
It's
representing
irrelevant.
You're representing 18,000 people
It's
in that ward.
It's irrelevant
Why?
because of the Constitution of the United States of America. I mean, this is our document. You always talk about being constitutionalist. Be a constitutionalist.
I am a
The
constitutionalist.
Constitution in the 14th Amendment
Mhm.
talks about equality, and states can't disenfranchise that equality.
So
That's the equal protection.
what we're actually talking about here physically is that the vast majority of those 18,000 individuals in your ward they live aboard Camp Lejeune. They're Marines,
Okay.
right?
But what I'm trying to suggest to you,
I understand, but let me just go a little
okay,
bit further.
okay, go ahead.
So the vast majority live there, but that whole base, which was annexed for whatever reason, I still can't quite get it, except it was to get us more money. Happened before I got back here. But that whole area out there, suppose that was divvied up among all 4 wards.
What sense would that make? If you look at the map and you talk about gerrymandering,
Mhm.
look how you would have to gerrymander to get Camp Lejeune
Mhm.
into wards 2 and 3. I thought you were against the gerrymandering. I think that's what Joe McLaughlin is against.
No, he is. I'm not saying. I'm asking questions.
Those wards are contiguous. Wards 1 and 4
Mhm.
are contiguous with Camp Lejeune.
Mhm.
Camp Lejeune is on the east side of 24
Yes.
and 17.
Yeah.
Why would it not be in wards 1 and 4?
Mhm.
It-
That's a big chunk of territory.
no, it's not territory. What
I understand, but it's a big chunk of people
you want to
that are in
talk
one
about
area.
how many people vote. The equal protection clause of the 14th Amendment has been interpreted as one person, one vote.
Mhm.
And in the cases of Reynolds versus Sims in 1964,
Mhm.
uh, Westbury versus Sanders in 1964,
Mhm.
this is what that meant, that you have your districts proportion based on population. That's the law. I'm sure the Civil Rights Act had something to do with that,
Probably. I hope so.
but it's based on population. You can't have an elections districts drawn based on how many people you think are going to vote. That would be tremendously unfair. So
Okay.
the whole conversation that the people who are challenging and calling us racist is based on some myth that's not reality in U.S. constitutional law.
Okay, we have a caller. Somebody's got a question for you. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing? This is George.
Fine, George. We're doing great. How are you? You got a question for Jerome?
I do, and I guess, and it's more maybe like a historical thing or something, and something I've noticed. But in recent years, it seems like we always talk about the population gerrymandering and the population of Camp Lejeune. And I've spent a lot of time stationed across the country and around the world, and now it could be naiveness, and I never paid attention to politics. But do other areas with bases have the same problem? Because I never remember this, and I was a PAO for most of my career, never remember like a battle of people counting or not counting as voters on base for like elections and stuff. So I was just wondering if it's just this area, just this state, because I feel like either A, it's a bigger issue that no one knows about, or B, it's like a localized thing that just has yet to get figured out because the military community just don't seem to get along. Which that's probably what I would err on. But just wondering if you've seen that happen anywhere else in the country, and if there's been a best practice to solve the problem, because it seems like it's a consistent problem here.
Okay. George, you're going to keep listening, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break and then we'll let Jerome answer that question when we come back so I don't get overwhelmed and out of time again. You're live in Local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back. You need to hurry on down there to the borough. That's a good place to eat. Jerome Willingham is our guest in the studio, a former Jacksonville city councilman, and he ran 2 years ago. When was the last one? Last election. You were running
2020.
again too.
This year.
This year. Okay. I can't remember. You believe me. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes,
But you ran then and you were defeated by the incumbent.
correct.
Okay. And so fair election.
No, it wasn't. And I challenged some things, but I didn't get a day in court. And guess what? I accept that.
Okay.
I'm not trying to overthrow the city council.
The George had asked a question before the break about if this is unique to either North Carolina or to the Camp Lejeune area, or do we have other issues in other locations where there are military bases similar to this?
Okay. This is a red herring. It is a false argument. Just imagine what's being said. We shouldn't include the military base in our districts. Let me point your attention to the 3rd congressional district. When Joe McLaughlin ran, there were
He ran for U.S. House.
Yes, he did. 3rd
Okay.
congressional district. There were 131,000 less voters in the 3rd congressional district as compared to the 4th congressional district.
Okay.
That dwarfs what he's complaining about in the city of Jacksonville. 131,000 voters less in his district. Guess what? Camp Lejeune is counted in his district.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So he doesn't complain about that. That is the epitome of hypocrisy. He doesn't complain about that, but he complains about 281 fewer votes in one district in Jacksonville versus the other. You can't just complain because you feel minorities benefit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's the definition of racism. If you think that, if you're okay with it, I never heard from Joe when I ran for State House. Okay? And before the election, after I filed for the seat, and my district was in with Belfort and Bryn Mawr,
Mm-hmm.
before the election, the Republicans took me out of the district and put me in Robert Grady's district. Okay?
Okay.
Nobody complained. Nobody complained about that. I'm the only person in the city of Jacksonville, I think, who has had an election overturned for fraud. Okay? Went all the way to Court of Appeals and won. I didn't hear from him. People weren't concerned about that.
Uh-huh.
You can't just be concerned about voter fraud or gerrymandering when you feel you're not getting some advantage. Who's the victim in the lawsuit? To have standing for a lawsuit, you have to have a harm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the people that I understand that are on the complaint, 2 candidates from the municipal election. Did a Black person win in those races that they participated in? How were they harmed by a system?
Mm-hmm.
How was he harmed by a system? To be harmed, you would need to be in Ward 1 or Ward 4 and not have an opportunity. What is he saying? Is he saying that Black people don't vote for white people? Since when? I've been voting for president all my life. It's only been a Black person that ran in the general election for once. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
President Obama. I've been voting. We vote for white people all the time. What is he saying?
Well, white people vote for Black people. Look at the mayor of Richland, right?
Very good
He
example.
gets lots of votes, right?
Yeah,
And it's
that's,
at large election.
that's
of
my
course.
hero.
Yeah, so he gets them.
Mhm.
We had Paul Hardison here elected, right?
Mhm.
At large,
Yeah.
by all the people of Onslow County, or the
Okay.
district, not just Onslow County. We've had, who else was there?
It was Angela Washington.
Angela Washington.
No, she ran the ward system.
Yeah, she ran in the ward system.
Right.
Yeah, I thought you were giving examples of at large.
Well, I was doing that, but
Yes.
she was elected, but
Right.
she had no problem.
All good candidates.
Yeah.
The judge looks at that.
Mhm.
Okay, but you can't make a rule based on exceptions. We had a pattern that we showed in every court case where you're going to see this challenge. Look at Jones County. They used the same lawyers that we did 30 years ago, just a couple of years ago, and they prevailed. We were the prevailing party. There's a tremendous burden because the plaintiffs have the burden of proof. So we have to go in with evidence. These aren't talking points.
Okay. Let's take our last break here. You're live in local Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. And our closing minutes here. Lee's got a question for our guest, Jerome Willingham.
Yes, prior to 1989, Jacksonville City did have an at-large voting for their city council. That's how everyone, ran. And then it was changed to the ward system. If we went back to the at-large, how's it going to hurt someone, a minority, from running? I mean, they still have the same opportunity to put their name in the hat and get out and campaign and run.
What does the district system hurt?
Why
Why
you're not
why-
answering? You're answering your question with a question.
Right.
So let's go back to her question.
And the reason I'm doing that is because we have a district system.
Mhm.
And I think it'd be a prerequisite to show why we would need to change something that's been working to provide the diversity. So that's what it would hurt.
Mhm.
We have had more diversity on the city council than any of the other elected bodies, as far as I know, for 30 years. And so we challenge that system. And if you want to challenge the system now, you want to change, show how it's harmed you. You would need to show McLaughlin and the plaintiffs need to show how the system harms them.
Mhm.
And I don't think they can show that. What they have to say is that Black people discriminate against white people. Okay. I know he danced around different how he phrased that, and he's suing the city council. That's just a technicality. We were the prevailing party.
In Ward 1, the majority of the population in Ward 1, the voting population is African American, right?
No, it's white.
I'm sorry,
I think it's white.
white,
Yeah.
the majority?
Mhm.
And they're voting for an African American and they've elected him twice, right?
I don't know who votes based on race.
Hmm.
I don't know that. But the majority of the vote, the residents, you want to talk about voters, I can talk about residents.
Mhm.
The majority are white in both wards 1 and 4. So how does that hurting white people if they're in the majority?
Okay. Got a caller, one final call. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey guys, it's Steve.
Hey,
How y'all
Steve.
doing this morning?
Doing fine. What's up?
Hey, I don't have much skin in the game, but it kind of struck my curiosity, and I wanted to ask this. And sorry if y'all answered this already, but I don't quite understand why you would include Camp Lejeune in an Onslow County election. They're essentially their own county. They have their own judicial system, their own police office, their own school system, their own hospitals, and nobody that lives aboard Camp Lejeune pays any property tax in Onslow County.
Correct.
If you're gonna lower the criteria that low, I live in Colorado County, but I got a Swansboro address. Why can't I vote in your election?
You can vote in the county election if you actually live in the county.
Right. Well, in 1990,
Right, but
They
I mean, I live
annexed.
in Carteret County, but I still have a Swansboro address.
Nope, can't do it.
Right, but I'm just saying those people don't live in Onslow County either.
Yeah, they do live in Onslow County because Camp Lejeune is inside Onslow
yes,
County.
in 1990, the city annexed.
But it's,
Camp
I mean,
Lejeune.
okay, I just may be ignorant to it, but my understanding was Camp Lejeune is a separate federal installation
The
and it's
city
federal
has-
property, and it's not a part of Onslow
The
County.
city has no
And that's what-
jurisdiction on the base
None,
whatsoever.
None at all.
The police have no jurisdiction. The city has no jurisdiction. I don't even know why they annexed it because
I
they
do
have
know
no
why they annexed it.
jurisdiction.
Well, that's
Jerome knows
that's
why
my
you
thing is
annexed
that they receive no property tax from anybody in that area.
Jerome
I mean-
knows exactly why he was part of that annexation process, right?
Yes.
Okay, that annexation came about because the city looks bigger on paper by about another 50, 60,000 people,
Mhm.
looks bigger on paper, can apply for big boy funds from the federal government.
Right. It brings more funds because of higher population. I get that side of
But
it,
they
but
have
it's,
no jurisdiction, Steve.
you know, like I said, if
JPD
you're gonna
has
do
no
that, include Carteret
jurisdiction.
County, man, you can get
Yeah.
even more money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah, I mean, it don't make no sense. I mean, I get why they done it, but it just don't make sense that they could do that. I mean,
well, it does. It
why
happens.
can't they annex Fort Bragg? You know, if you're just going to take federal property and consider it Onslow County.
Call 202 the White House. I have no clue.
I think Fort Bragg is. I think Fort Bragg is.
Okay, but you see my confusion.
Mine too, Steve. Trust me, I've been arguing this, beating this dead horse ever since I've been back here. Thank you, Steve.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
You can't take Camp Lejeune out of the county. You can't
No.
take it out of the state.
No.
And it's the same argument. You can't argue that it shouldn't be in the city. But if you like all of the eating franchises that we have in the city of Jacksonville,
Mhm.
when did they come? If you like the shopping that you have in the city of Jacksonville, when did that develop? It developed from the demographics of the population.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's why you have the things that you do here. And
population when I moved, well, before I was born, but in 1941, before Camp Lejeune got here, 1940,
Mhm.
was 700 people inside
Yes.
the city limits of Jacksonville. 700
Right.
souls. Richlands was bigger.
Right.
Had more people in Richlands.
Well, my whole point about the at large, if everything was at large, it just Camp Lejeune is not an issue.
Yep, that's right.
The people can vote or they're not vote. I mean, whether they come out to the polls today and vote is up to them, those that can vote. But if you made everything at large, you wouldn't have to worry about what ward is getting part of Camp Lejeune, or, or whatever. So there you go. I just think that it's a much easier and fair system. And if Jerome, you wanted to run next time, I mean, you're still eligible to run. Put your name in the hat and run. So I just don't understand the ward thing.
The 3rd Congressional District is a ward. You don't complain about that.
No, well, what do you mean they're a ward?
That's what it is.
They're a district comprised
that's the
of
same thing.
15 counties.
That's the same thing. It's based on population per the Constitution. It's a district based on
Right.
population.
With
We have them. If we didn't have districts based on population,
Mhm.
then your North Carolina State House would run at large.
Right, I understand that.
Raleigh and Charlotte would get all the votes. We get all the representatives. You'd
Well,
be
how
complaining
many other
about that.
counties in the state of North Carolina have the ward system in their cities? Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look mine
A
up.
lot
Well,
of
well,
them.
well,
A lot
Yeah,
of
there,
them.
there are any number of them that do.
Yeah.
All right, Jerome, hey, thank you for coming in, sir. Thanks for explaining things and good explanations too, by the way.
Yes.
Thanks for
I
having me.
appreciate that, sir. We got to take a break, and then we got a guest on the other side for Flip Side Community Outreach here, Onslow County Community Outreach. We'll be talking about it. You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSMA. Fox News is now. And spirited conversation. Do appreciate it, and thanks for Jerome for coming in too. We like it when he comes in.
Yeah, I do. And I always like hearing both sides of the issue.
Absolutely.
So
We're not taking sides when we ask questions. We ask
No.
questions because other people are asking us questions too.
that's
and,
right.
And I will play the devil's advocate. That's
Oh,
just what my job
Exactly.
is.
Yeah.
So
That's
anyway,
that's why I was asking about the at large. I
Yep.
just think it'd be much simpler. You can still run.
anybody can run.
Right.
CJ Crooks.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing very well this morning.
Good. Appreciate you coming in. Executive Director. I got to read this so I can make sure I don't screw it up like I did with Jerome. Executive Director of Onslow Community Outreach.
That's right.
So what do you guys do over there?
So we run the soup kitchen, the homeless shelter, several different food programs,
Mhm.
and the free medical and dental clinics in town. We're
Okay.
probably best known for Christmas Cheer,
Oh,
which is our
yes,
longest
absolutely.
serving program.
Mhm.
So old, most people
Yes.
don't know when it started.
Wow. Anyway, you're off and running it, I hope, by now.
Very much so. So it's been about 2 years since I took the helm from Theo McClemmy, who was the previous executive director.
Mhm.
And we have moved into the building that OCO purchased back in 2015, the old Piggly Wiggly on Hargett Street. And over $3 million of renovations later,
Oh.
it is up and moving pretty
Yeah.
well.
Yay,
Mhm.
yay. And so explain Christmas Cheer for the folks who don't know. I mean, we all know about Toys for Tots, and we know about this, and we know about that. There are any number of programs, right?
hmm
Yours is a little unique in that you're looking for all sorts of stuff, and you do it year round.
We do collections year round
Mhm.
for it. It's a little unique in that it was started in the 70s by multiple congregations who came together and they wanted to pool their resources to have a better benefit to the community.
Mhm.
They saw individuals who would go to one church in need and they would wait to get an answer. So before they could get an answer, they'd go to another church in need. So the community wanted to pool resources and then do a application process almost so that they could find who was most in need and serve those individuals. And we've kept that. So we have an application process that'll open up right after Oktoberfest this weekend. And last year we served over 2,000 children.
Wow, that's a lot. And what are you looking for?
For Oktoberfest,
No,
that's this weekend.
we'll talk
But
about
for
that
Christmas
too.
cheer, we're usually looking for toys and foodstuffs. So not only are they getting toys that are largely sponsored from Toys for Tots, we're also bringing a lot of different community organizations that will donate toys. But we always need more of a high-end toy between about $25 and $35. Those are toys that are very difficult to usually get from a Toys for Tots or a smaller drive. And we try to get those to every children under 12 that we can.
Are you still doing where people can like adopt a family?
Yes.
Okay, because that's what I've participated in with you guys in the past, where you they put quote bios about the families, and you can choose to adopt. And a lot of times they will issue or their wish list kind of things they're looking for. And it's also seniors. Some seniors want food, they want help with this or that. So I've seen wanted help with maybe home items or repairs. I've adopted a senior before, and families with kids.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. You came dressed for the occasion this morning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cute.
Oktoberfest.
I'm not going to call him cute.
He's
You can do
cute.
I'll go with cute. I like it.
Oktoberfest gear.
that. Oktoberfest. You're ready to rock and roll.
We are. So all of the tents were up last night. We have, thanks to Amy Goss and Guild Mortgage, we have 4 different live bands playing over the weekend.
Wow.
Nice.
Well,
Who are they?
So we have Afraid Not, Circle City Rockers will close us out tomorrow night. Tonight we have Steele County Express, when we have Commander Major General Matthew Trollinger from MARSOC is coming out and tapping our keg. And then Steele County Express will close out the night with live entertainment. And then we have Billy and the Kids tomorrow afternoon.
Wow. You can have a busy time.
Yes.
That's good. That's wonderful. And so it's downtown located. If you don't know where it is, just get out downtown and start walking. Follow the crowd because they'll be there. What time does it kick off?
3 o'clock this afternoon.
Okay.
Tapping of the keg with Mayor Sammy and the General will be about 5:15.
Okay. And then how long does it last each night?
So we've advertised until 9. Beer sales will end at 8.
Okay.
And then music will end between 8 and 8:30.
Okay. So, and then what else is going to be there other than live music and the bands? Well, the bands and the food and whatever.
Yep. So the
You got a
food
beer
and the
garden.
beer and the brats and
Right.
the beer garden.
Yep.
Coastal Beverage done a fantastic job getting us some Oktoberfest that are hard to find. A couple of pumpkin beers. There's a great IPA and a Carolina Blonde on the beer garden. We also have a large kids area, and the church next door has put up some amusement park rides. So there'll be a lot of different entertainment options for the whole family.
I understand this year you're going to let people exchange their kids for somebody else's kids, and they
Oh
can
my
take them home in
gosh.
case no. I'm just
Trouble.
kidding.
Not on our side, but maybe somewhere.
No.
Does it cost to
Free
come?
admission.
Free admission. And what time do you start tomorrow?
10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
Okay.
I think in years past, the biggest draw to Oktoberfest was the beer garden.
I
And the
hope so.
brats.
Yeah, that was.
Yes.
I would think.
Yeah.
I would think
Yes.
so.
I mean, that's what people think about when they get around October. Period.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
And so
Throw a
anyway,
little bit of oysters in there too, and you'd really have
oh,
it made.
Yeah, buddy.
And the weather looks beautiful.
It is
Yes.
gorgeous.
That's
Should have
gonna
high
be
60s,
nice.
low 70s for the whole weekend.
Oh, it's gonna
Yes.
be
gonna be
ideal weather
beautiful.
for this. And some Octobers, even this time, it's still like 80, 90 degrees at
Mhm.
times. So
Oh,
just kind of hard to
yes.
get in the mood.
Or raining.
Or
Right.
raining.
So-
Don't jinx that one.
Nothing on the forecast. So we've
Yeah.
been watching it closely for the last month.
So anyway, well, that's good. I'm glad you're doing it again, and I hope everybody will turn out and just have a grand old time.
Appreciate it.
And you're having vendors out there too, correct? That you've had that in the past.
Yes, we have over 60 vendors in our slots. It's a little over 80 slots. So some of them are taking up a pretty big spot. The VFW is coming out and doing a large cornhole tournament.
Okay.
So they have their
Wow.
trailer out there already right now.
Okay.
It'll be a great time to come on out.
Food trucks.
There are food trucks. 4 or 5 different
In
food
case
trucks.
you
from
don't
there.
want to eat the.
In case you don't want a brat, some German potato salad, sauerkraut.
I love German potato salad though.
Oh, I do too. No, I
I can
just
make a
want some
meal off
now.
that.
Oh, who's cooking today?
Anyway, well, that's fun. That's a lot of fun. Anything really unique this year? Any difference?
No, I think we're getting back into it. So we've been off for 2 years, so
Yeah.
it's trying to reconnect with a
Yes.
lot of those vendors who weren't doing. And there's a lot going on this weekend all around town. So we really appreciate the support. This is our only real fundraising event for the
Mhm.
community outreach. So
And how
we're
do you
looking
how do
forward
you actually raise the money? No admission. So
so it comes in through food sales, beer sales, vendor
Okay.
things, and sponsorships.
okay.
And
So
we've been
you got-
very lucky
yep.
to have some great sponsors this year.
How many sponsors you got?
Oh, now I'm putting me on the spot to count them all. Gosh, there's at least 15 logos on the shirt.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
cool.
Mhm.
That's excellent. Well, I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad the community is picking up the
Mhm.
slack, shall we say, for the last 2 years.
It's been great.
Yep. Okay.
It's been great to get back into all these things that
I
we've
know
missed
it
out
is.
for the last
Golly.
2 years.
Yeah.
And it's for a good cause. And I
That's
know
right.
your population of that you serve has increased, which is sad. So for those that don't know, the community outreach operates the homeless shelter and the soup kitchen. And I know they're always in need of volunteers and donations, always. So
Mhm.
everyone, please keep that in mind.
And I'll say it again: we're almost out of hurricane season. All of those goods that you went out and bought to last you, through a hurricane,
I
in
have
case you
enough.
got it.
Yes.
Uh, if it's not expired, take
Mhm.
it down to the soup kitchen.
Yep.
They
Mhm.
will use it immediately, even if it's a short date on it. They will guarantee you they'll put it to good use.
Mhm.
Anything in particular you're looking for?
Always looking for canned vegetables.
Mhm.
We'll go through about 74 cans of a size 10 can per meal every day. We're
Wow.
serving over 160 people right now
Yeah.
through the soup kitchen
Wow,
It's a lot of
I had
veggies.
no idea.
Yeah, they have
Every day.
every day,
every
Monday
day.
through Friday.
Yeah.
All volunteer cooks as well. Some of our cooks have been with us for over 20 years.
Mhm.
From time to time, certain dignitaries in an area, leaders in an area, will go down and cook and volunteer for soup kitchens. Do you have any of that here?
Not for the last 2 years where I've been in. We've really reduced our cooking staffs to
Mhm.
try to
For
avoid
COVID.
for
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to avoid the word.
I'll say
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, for
I'll say
COVID.
it. Yeah.
So just we've really tried to insulate those groups, and so the same group doesn't cook multiple times a week. That way we can rotate out. If there is an outbreak from someone, it doesn't shut down the soup kitchen.
Got
We
it.
haven't shut down in 2 years through COVID, so we've been able to maintain operations every single day.
Excellent.
What
That's
is
good.
your current population of guests at the
Shelter?
shelter?
So we have 44 beds in the new shelter, and we're almost always full.
Yeah, I knew that you are. Yeah.
And so that's a congregate living space for men, female, and then we have 3 family rooms. And the family rooms are always full. The men's dorm is always full. So it's between 35 and 40.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
how, and those are the ones that they're able to serve.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. There's more that are not, they're not.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Very sad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get at least 6 phone calls a day of people that we can't serve because we're full.
Yeah. And I
That's sad.
hope the public will definitely keep that in mind and donate as much as you can because this is a need
Yeah. Money
and it's getting colder.
Mhm.
and
So,
and food.
Yeah.
And food.
Yeah.
Anything else other than that?
No, those are the 2 big ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
We should take care of it. Sir,
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming in this
Yeah.
morning.
We very
Especially
much
on
appreciate
short
the
Great
notice.
invite.
talk.
It's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good
It'll be a
time.
great
forward
time
Good time at the
Oktoberfest.
fest.
Look forward to seeing y'all there.
Yep.
All right,
Prost.
All right.
You take care. Well, let's go ahead and take an early break. We got dumb quick news coming up in a few
I'm
minutes, but
trying
we
to
got
pull it up,
we
yeah.
got some
Shenanigans
we
we
got
want to
some
talk about.
shenanigans we got to pull up. We got to talk about
We can
that
talk
too.
about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
that kind of comes under dumb quick news a little bit too. I'm just
Yeah.
messing with you. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. Calling all fishermen with boats, calling all fishermen with boats. Come on down to Tideline Marine. They're going down and volunteer your services for next Tuesday for a half a day. You'll get some hamburgers and stuff out of it too. Going to have a lunch for that. A bunch of troops have been invited to come down for a Take the Troops Fishing Day next Tuesday. It was sponsored by Tideline Marine and a bunch of the guides and stuff that are involved. And it's going to be a fun deal. As we heard from George earlier, but it's going to be a fun event. I know four of us at Tideline, we're volunteered, and we're going to be taking a troop or two fishing. It's all in the river. They're setting up some areas where each one of the boats will go, so they don't congregate together. And that kind of stuff. It'll be a lot of fun. And then you just fish for a half day. You bring your Marines back to the marina and tie up and get out and have lunch. So you try it. That'll be a really good experience. If you want to know more about it, you can either call George at Tideline or check out Tideline's Facebook page. It's next Tuesday. Starts. Everybody gets aboard the boat at 7:00 and leave. Okay, so come in somewhere between 6 and 6:30. If you've got your boat on a trailer, take it over across the street there and launch it, and do all that sort of good stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun. Call him today or stop by 159 Old Bridge Street on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Best idea for a joint community service that I've ever seen in this area. I just like the idea. It's going to be a lot of fun. Picture perfect boating weather for the next couple of days. We're back to coastal Carolina fall weather. Northeasterly winds today offshore 10 to 15, seas 2 to 3, dominant period 7 seconds, sounds and rivers only a moderate chop. Tomorrow, northeasterly winds kicking up just a little bit, 15 to 20, gusts to 30, seas 3 to 5, 2 to 3 on the beach. Dominant period 7 seconds, sounds and rivers just a little choppy. And on Sunday, northerly winds 15 to 20 with gusts to 25 knots, seas 4 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore.
Today, sunny, high of 71. Tonight, clear, low of 45, so a little bit warmer tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy, high of 73, and the gusts of wind are going to increase due to this potential rainstorm that is
The
off
low
our coast
pressure
or whatever.
mess
Yeah.
out there.
Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy, low of 55, still gusty. And on Sunday, cloudy, high of 68, gusty as well, then with gusts as high as 18 miles an hour. Monday, though, sunny, high of 74. So, it's going to warm up through the week by 78 by Thursday.
Yeah, just make it nice and smooth for Tuesday. No rain.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And kind of warm. The trout are biting. The redfish are biting. The croakers are biting. Spots are biting. We might have a mess of fish. So that would be good.
Sounds like a cookout.
Tuesday's supposed to be sunny. You'll have a good time that day. It'll be
Yes.
good weather. Yeah.
I've already
78
looked at
for
it.
the high. Yeah.
I looked at it. It's
Yeah.
be actually absolutely nice. So we'll be
So,
good to go. Okay.
We have some local shenanigans to talk
We have
about.
some.
And I think it's BS. I'm going on
Again.
the radio saying that.
Again.
So, yeah.
What's going on? What's happening?
Okay. Are we talking about the elections?
We're talking
Yes.
about the voter.
Okay. I was out at the polls
Thanks.
yesterday. I was out there for about 4 hours,
Mhm,
and I was helping some of our candidates,
mhm.
and I talked to a lot of people. Well, I had somebody approach me that's a Republican
Mhm.
and was at a meeting recently where somebody got up and told the people that they're encouraging people to wait till after 3 p.m. on Tuesday on election day to vote, to not vote early.
Why?
Well, that was my question.
Mhm.
And the answer was, well, the votes are being tracked, and the Democratic Party is looking to see how many Republicans come out, and they want to wait till after 3 p.m. on election day to see what the votes are tabulating so they can bring in a bunch of Democrats at the last minute to vote. And I was like, none of that even makes
It
sense.
makes
It
No
doesn't make sense.
sense.
No sense
What
at all.
kind of
They go-
idiot believes this?
Do you,
Well-
do you have a group of Democrats out there? Is there a group somewhere with a bunch of a school bus load of Democrats
Yeah.
that they can bus them
Doesn't
over
work that way.
Well, first of all, there's this organization called We the People Events, and they sent out a mass email, and they're citing that North Carolina has some voter roll issues and stuff. But when I went to Google them and start, getting information on them, these are allegations that they have made. The State Board of Elections has responded to a lot of them, and a lot of them they've just ignored because they just don't have any merit. But
It's fear mongering.
let
is
me
what it
explain
is.
one thing. I went in there and voted yesterday. The only thing that the machine will send out is information as to, I was number 48 or whatever. At the end of the day, all 5 voting locations, they take the number off the machine, they report that, and that gets uploaded to the state. And all it does is tell you how many voters came out.
Not how many Republicans,
That's
not
right.
how many Democrats.
Well, you can actually, once all that information is drilled down, you can actually see how many Republicans voted, how many Democrats voted. But that's based
who
on their voter
cares?
history. That's not based on what they actually voted. Who you marked on that ballot for the day, that's not uploaded.
Mhm.
So if I went in there and voted for 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans, nobody's going to know that.
Mm-mm.
But
Nobody's
once again,
gonna know.
who cares?
That's right.
I'm just excited people are voting. This is just
And-
beyond
but
dumb.
again, what they going to bring in a bunch of Democrats if there are a lot of Republicans voting in a certain ward or a certain district, right?
That's right.
So what?
Well,
That
and the
makes
thing about
zero
it is
sense.
too. The thing about it is like you can see, like, if you go to Vote Tracker NC, it's a thing that's the John Locke Foundation invented it, and they run it, and they're really good foundations, very trustworthy. So you can go on there. It's always going to be a day behind on the total number of voters, but you can actually drill down to see male, female, the age range, the race, but you cannot get any statistics on who voted for who. Those aren't released. And first of all, every day that you go early voting, all that information stays in the machine. When you put that ballot in there, that stays in the machine on the drive there. So those machines are not moved. Everything is sealed, so the seal cannot be broken. After the early election is over with, which would be November 5th,
Whatever. Yeah.
yeah. Those machines are all moved to the Board of Elections, where they have special USB drivers, thumb drives that they put into those machines.
And you can't take
You
one
cannot-
off the
that's
grocery
right.
store shelf and download it.
These are made by Hart, which makes the machines. It's a Hart machine.
It's proprietary gear.
That's right. That's
Period.
only for those machines only. You cannot put another driver in there. Anyway, they'll download the information on there, and on election day across the state at 2 p.m., that's when all the county boards of elections upload early voting information to the state. That's when it goes into the system. Now, somebody with the Board of Elections, could they look at the numbers and see who's leading? Probably so, but they're not allowed to disperse that information.
Mhm.
Well, that's why at 7:30, when the polls close, sometimes you can at 7:31 hit that button
And you'll
and
get
early voting rolls in. Then you can see who's got what in votes.
Mhm.
But until that time, that information does not go out.
Because if it was available prior to that time, then you could start stacking
That's
people
right.
up.
That's right.
So if you want your people to get elected, if you're favoring a certain candidate or certain candidates,
right.
then you get all the people that you know who will and convince them to come out and vote. You can
Okay.
do it today.
Well, I've been doing that to my friends.
You can do it today.
Right.
You can do it any
So-
day until early voting closes. You can do it on the day of the election from 6:30 in the morning until 7:30 in the evening. And nobody's going to know
That's
how
right.
they voted. Nobody
My-
will know until 7:30 p.m. on November 8th.
My ballot is in that machine. My votes are in that machine, but they will not be accessed until November 8th, the
Mhm.
day of election, the actual election
Now,
day.
who was putting this stuff out at the county meeting, the Republican meeting?
I was not there.
Yep.
I was told by another elected official that it was one of our House representatives that was
Really?
giving out the information. I was not there. I cannot
Giving
confirm
out
it.
the misinformation.
Yeah, I'm just like, that doesn't even make sense. It's ridiculous. And these people,
Why?
the people events.
And this is why I say right here, make certain you know exactly who you are voting for,
That's
and
right.
do not vote for somebody because of the letter behind their name, because you can be just as big of an idiot as a Republican as a Democrat. Bottom line.
And now another issue that came up that I noticed, the Republican Party always passes out voter guides.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I know like Senator Lazar he's got on one side, he's got his, because he's running. And on the flip side, he's got the complete voter guide for the Republican Party. Now, the Republican Party puts every Republican running that you're going to be voting for, whether it's local, state, federal,
Well, that's what they're supposed
on
to
that
do.
voter guide. They leave nobody off.
Right.
All right. Now we've got a couple people that are with the executive committee with the
You got some
GOP.
splinters, right?
That the ones that have been causing so much division all year long. They went out and made their own voter guides, and they're representing to anybody else walking up. You would think this is the Republican Party handing out these voter guides.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The problem is it's a nonpartisan office, the Soil and Water Conservation District Supervisor.
Mhm.
All right. There's 4 people on the ballot. They're all Republicans. Not that it matters because it's a nonpartisan race. But these people are only listing the 2 people that they want, which is Robert Johnson and Wayne Yates. That's the only 2 people they listed on their voter guide. They did not put Emily Walton or Barbara Justice Rooks on there. These 2 ladies are in that position now. They've been in it. They've worked it. They're there. But these other 2 people other people are putting out these voter information guides and leaving the 2 ladies off of it
But they're
to
all
make it
Republicans.
appear. Yeah, they're all
And
Republicans.
see, this is why people locally, some of them, and people I personally know, are leaving the Republican Party is because of the shenanigans that go on in Oslo, like that crap right
Right.
there. Because once again, as Republicans, you're supposed to all be working together,
Right.
not trying to weed out 2 or
Well,
whatever.
that's been a problem
It has
over the
been a
last
problem. That's
year
why I've
and a
been so
half.
disgusted with the local
Is
party.
because these people that want to be a part of the party, but all they're doing is causing division. They're putting out
hate and
videos,
discontent
hate
and
and
nonsense.
discontent.
Yes.
But and so when you just remember, when you go in there to vote, on your ballot, it's going to show 4 people.
Mhm.
It is a nonpartisan race. It's never been a race based on your political affiliation.
Right.
But all 4 people on there are Republican, if you need to know.
Mhm.
And so if you get a voter guide that does not have the ladies listed on it, that's not by the Onslow County GOP.
Right.
The Onslow County GOP does have beautiful voter guides this year. It lists every single Republican running.
But that's how it should be.
That's how it should
But this
be.
is why I say, once again, people should absolutely do their research. Don't rely on somebody to tell you how to vote.
Exactly.
Be smart enough to figure it out for yourself and vote the way you want to be. Not when you got people passing out voter guides that don't have everybody on there.
Maybe I should
I
pass out
agree.
one because I'm an independent. We include everybody.
Well,
Our party, I know you don't do that. You can't do that. You shouldn't.
But
do
here's
that,
the thing,
I'm
but
an
once again,
independent.
I will go on record as saying again, okay? I have learned a lot over the past, I'm going to say 8 years.
Yes.
Definitely. In terms of voting, because I have changed the way I vote versus how I used to vote. And I have now just learned and figured out for myself by doing homework, listening to people, looking at records, whatever, however you want to say it, sitting back in rooms and watching and listening and not saying anything. Just because a person has a particular letter behind their name does not make them the best candidate for the job.
That's right.
Period.
I agree
And
with
this
that.
bullying and name calling and backdoor deals needs to stop.
Well, let me just tell you, one of the gentlemen that is running for Soil and Water was the gentleman that was responsible for going out prior to election day and putting those ugly signs up denouncing the current commissioners that were running.
What?
He was the one that went out there and put the signs up saying, don't vote for Tim Foster, don't vote for Royce.
Oh my word.
Mark Price. He was the one that put those signs up. So because it was seen on video. But yeah, and so now we got
So
the
now
shenanigans.
he's running. And
Yes.
Oh my! Once again, do your homework, people,
It
before
gets
you
really-
go in that
Absolutely.
booth.
It's really deep.
Absolutely.
Good morning. Who's this?
Good morning. This is Jason Dedman at the Onslow County Board of Elections.
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Hey,
Day
Jason.
one. Day
Jason,
one.
Hey.
I'm going to go on record saying I just think you probably don't get paid enough to deal
No,
with
he
this kind
does
of
not.
nonsense. I'm just going to say that right now.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm probably one of the lowest paid directors in the county. I think I am, but that's okay. I enjoy my job. But I was calling to actually thank y'all because there is so much out there about election integrity that, yes, you can be concerned about election integrity, but certain things you need to take with a grain of salt and consider the source, because Lee Barrows has educated you quite a bit already this morning.
She has done
And
that.
the
Make me mad.
the machines already, they have that information in them. And so all the public on the first day of early voting, even if you weren't an observer, you had the right to come in and watch them open on the first day only. And they could have seen that it started out at 0. And that drive is in there, but that drive stays there all the way to the end, like she says. So all waiting till election day at 3 p.m. would do. If everyone decided to just wait to election day only after 3 p.m., then you're going to be having people complaining about the lines from 3 to 7:30, because if everyone only voted from 3 to 7:30. And so the only reason that North Carolina can give you results, you know, these other states, they get bad raps because it takes a while for their results to come out. And no matter how fast our results come out, it's never fast enough for everybody. And the reason we get our initial results so fast is just what Lee said. At 2 p.m., we upload our information through the intranet to the state. But even if someone thinks there's something funny going on, we have the paper trail of our numbers here, and we still have the paper ballots, and people can come see that count. And there's no possible way, just to bring it down to our local level, where you could know that you need to bring more people to vote, because by the time we release that, the polls are closed. So I would never encourage anybody to vote either absentee or early or election day. I wouldn't try to tell them how or when to vote, but I would never discourage somebody from voting when they would like to vote because they think there's something funny going on. Because what you have working these polls are your friends and neighbors. They are not rogue people. And so, yes, I definitely don't like it when there is a barrage of mis and disinformation going on. And what we should be doing, and what I heard y'all doing, is just encouraging people to vote and not worrying so much about this other stuff that is not true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't believe all the lies that are out there. Somebody's bombarding you with stuff, and it's from some organization other than like an official GOP or
Right.
DNC. If it's, you know, the local Democrat Party, they put out voter guides or whatever they want to call them. That's fine. You know, that's coming from they're doing it for the entire party.
That's
Both
right.
of them.
That's right.
Only one exception can I remember, and that was during one of the elections for school board.
2020 school board.
Yeah, and when the GOP
We dropped a name. We did do that.
disavowed
Right.
one individual for good cause. One of all, he wasn't a Republican very long after that. But the you know, that's that I understand. But for these splinter groups to go out and act like they are official group,
Yeah. And
to-
'cause some people won't know.
they won't know.
They won't know.
No.
Not everybody, you know, just because a person's registered for a particular political party does not make them active in that party. And that's what some people don't understand. You know, some people don't go to GOP or Democrat meetings
That's
or
right.
Green Party meetings or whatever else, socialist or whatever else there is. So, you know, independents don't even have meetings. So
No, we
there's
don't.
that.
We
So
just get on
not
the phone.
everybody, not everybody's active in their local party, but they're registered a particular way.
That's
But
right.
I think this is unethical. Bottom line, to if you've got 4 members of the same party and you know you're only just vote for these two and not these two. That's unethical. Why?
May-
What are you
maybe
so
the,
worried about that you can't put all the names on, let the people decide?
Maybe
That's
the
right.
local Republican Party should put out a release about this.
Well, I do. Yes, they have. They sent out an email,
Okay.
and I do believe they have voter guides that they're mailing out. But they have voter guides at the polls. You can ask for the official Republican Party voter guide if you need it.
Okay.
So they're doing everything they can to counteract it. But you have, like Kelly said, these split groups. I can tell you about one in Carteret County after we finished talking to Jason to give you a good example. I know there's been campaign finance complaints lodged against some of these groups here in Onslow County for the shenanigans during the 2022 primary. So, you have to, you need, if you need a voter guide, go to the people who are going to give you the correct one.
And here's the thing for the
I can't. That's one thing I can't do. A lot of people ask me here for
Right.
Nope.
they want to know about candidates, and then what I do is I give them Ike's running this time, so I actually give them Marcy Wolford's name and phone
Mhm.
number because she's the second in charge for the Democratic Party.
Right.
And then if they're Republicans, then I give them the name and number for Melinda Hires.
Right.
And if they're unaffiliated, I'll give them both, or anybody. If they want both parties, I give them both parties. But I can't do their homework for them. But interesting thing about Soil and Water, normally I have to call down to Soil and Water and tell them, hey guys, the filing deadline is tomorrow.
Right.
Is anybody filing? And then this year, I have never seen so much interest or controversy, and it is a nonpartisan race. So this is kind of mind blowing for some of our board members watching this whole thing. Go through the motions, but I would just greatly appreciate it if anybody has anything come up. And I thank Kelly for what she said about what she got in the mail. Not everything that you receive in the mail, and I know Kelly didn't make it like it came from us, but I just
No.
want to tell everyone, a lot of stuff goes out in the mail and it talks about elections, or it may even look like it came from us, but a lot of these people, it's not illegal when they mail out stuff like that. And a lot of people are saying, well, I'm not registered, or they say I'm not registered, or different things. And sometimes if you search your name and you've done it through the DMV and they combined your first and middle, or you've got one of those multiple last names, if you don't look it up just right, you won't find yourself. I had one case where they went to register at the Republican headquarters, and they looked them up and they couldn't find them. And there was a post on Facebook saying, I voted for 5 years or whatever here, and it's not there. And they came down the next day to turn in her registration to get her registered. And I'm like, she's registered. Here it is right here. And I called her. And so I'm not saying we're perfect. Nobody's perfect, but there is definitely no conspiracies going on. And I am unaffiliated. I've been unaffiliated since 2004, and I do this to feed my family and keep a roof over my head, not to be politically active. So I will be fair, and I will get you the right information, but there definitely is a lot of emails and stuff going on out there. And whether we get emails or not from third-party lists about duplicates, we constantly are working to maintain the integrity of our voter rolls. And we had a whole meeting on why we can't accept third-party lists, because it has to be fair, widespread, and, non-discriminatory. Because if you are politically active or a political operative, you're not going to be looking for duplicates in your party. You'll be looking for duplicates in the other party.
There you go.
So that's why it's done uniformly around the state. So I don't want to take up too much time. I just want to thank y'all for the homework and the knowledge that you bring to the people. And no matter when you vote, your vote will be safe. And definitely no need to wait if you want to vote. But I'm not going to push you to come early. But if you're trying to vote at a certain time on election day because you think something funny is going on, you have got the wrong information for sure.
It's just
Exactly.
pure
Thank you.
dumb.
Thank
Yeah.
you, sir. Jason, we appreciate it, sir.
Yeah.
No
Thanks,
doubt we'll be
Jason.
talking with you next week.
All right. I appreciate y'all. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
keep up the good work.
Let's take a break.
You're live and local, Real Talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, and don't forget tonight's Friday night football for Jacksonville High Cardinals. They're traveling again.
Okay.
Winterville.
Winterville,
Winterville.
way up
Winterville.
yonder.
Okay.
And they got a 3-3 record right now, a 3-0 record right now for
Uh-huh.
0-3 record for
Yes.
conference, 3-3 overall. That's sad.
Yeah.
It is.
So
Come on,
hopefully,
Jacksonville.
hopefully
You
something
can
will
do it.
change. And then next weekend
Yeah.
we've got next Friday night's homecoming night.
That's
So
homecoming.
Oh,
They'll be
yeah, we're gonna
playing
get together.
Northside.
At right after we're live and local, we've got Sports Talk with Chris Rayner and his guest today, Becky Morton. She's a two-time All-American in soccer at Methodist University, a graduate of Jacksonville High School. Yay.
Nice.
That's good.
Okay.
That's coming up in a few minutes. Now, do a couple of dumb crook news before we go to
Yeah.
break.
I wasn't going to start in Florida because this wouldn't be dumb crook news if we didn't do Florida. This took place this past weekend on Sunday morning. Putnam County, Florida, and I literally have no idea. I've never heard of it.
Yes.
Where it sounds small.
Yeah.
But deputies in Florida arrested a man this past Sunday morning. He planned to start a war with law enforcement officials. You will never guess why. I mean, this is dumb. His plan. His name is Glenn.
They took his donuts.
Oh, it gets better than that. They took more than
Gosh.
that. His name is Glenn Wrestler. He's 42. He planned to engage deputies in shootout, triggering a war because he had his driver's license seized during an earlier traffic stop because his license had been suspended
Uh-huh.
and he was driving around. So they literally took his actual driver's license. And
Good
made him
luck,
mad.
dude.
So apparently he had went out. I mean, he had a lot of, these are the guns they seized off of him. I mean, he was going to do some serious damage. And somebody turned him in. So he had armed himself intending to initiate an active shooter situation with the deputies. And he had a statement. He wanted to start a war with the police. So
Goodbye.
he lived in Interlation, Florida, wherever that is. So they were early Sunday morning, as in like in the middle of the night kind of thing.
Mhm.
Deputies used night vision they were getting ready to serve a warrant on because he'd communicate these threats. They spotted him approaching the deputies. He had a tactical vest on, and he had 4 of the firearms and a whole bunch of extra ammo. 4 of what I showed you the picture of, but he had more than that. The deputies managed to disarm him, doesn't say how, and they took him into custody without incident. He was charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault, 1 count of a violation of a domestic violence injunction. I know it. So he violated a protective order, basically. Yep. And he's being held without bond. Good, because this guy's like, he's got some, y'all probably they need to evaluate him.
Oh, yes,
he's got issues.
for sure.
So I know we got to take a break.
Take a break. And
Yeah.
I'll remind you one more thing, too. Onslow
Yeah.
County Sheriff's Office deputies taking on Jacksonville PD. Jacksonville
right,
Police
tonight.
Department is tonight.
Yep.
It's at Onslow Pines Park. They're going to be playing ball. And let's see who's going to win. A Battle of the Badges, they're calling it. It's the first pitch is at 6:30. And that's tonight. And there is a $10 admission charge. That's helping support the Special Olympics of North Carolina.
Yep.
Awesome.
You're live and local Real Talk. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And we're back here. Going to be wrapping up this week here. We're still got some dumb crook news, right?
Yeah.
You have it up.
So I know we had talked about the story of those daycare workers in Mississippi that used the screen masks to scare those
Yep.
poor kids. Well, hallelujah! And their stupidity has now landed them with some felony child abuse charges.
Good.
And yep, and I think it's 5 of them. Yep, and
Good.
they deserve every bit of what they're getting. So how stupid do you have to be to think this was okay? I mean, dumb. So yeah. And another dumb thing, while we're going to talk about some dumb, remember about a week ago, I talked about that 5th grade teacher who had that kill list of students and
Yes.
staff in Chicago.
Yes.
Well, now she's been arrested too.
Good.
Yes. So last Wednesday, or maybe this past Wednesday, it was last Wednesday, but then they have finally arrested her. She's only 25. So she is just young and stupid, and her teaching career is clearly over.
How did she get out of school?
Because she said she was going to kill herself, students,
I mean,
and
how
staff.
did she ever
Yeah.
graduate from college
Yeah.
and get her teaching
The teacher
certificate?
said she had a list. And let me take that back. This whole thing started when a kid came and said, I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to kill a bunch of people, to her. And she said, oh, I got a list. And your name's actually on the bottom of my list right there. And that kid's like, oh, hold up. And went and told somebody. And then she admitted it. Dumb. Stupid. So then in England, we haven't talked about England in a little while. Everybody's got Ring doorbells, folks.
Yep.
Everybody.
That's
We
right.
sure do.
Why would you even attempt to break in a house? But so this guy named Adam Reynolds was caught on a Ring doorbell trying to break into a house. And this guy said that it wasn't me, it's my twin brother. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the
and-
excuse I'd use.
Well, this guy's record, they knew it was him. Apparently he does have a twin actually, but there's something that that sets them apart. One, I think, is his,
fingerprints.
well, also his tattoos. So there's that.
The
but,
tattoos. Yeah.
He has 62 convictions for 148 offenses. So
He just
yeah,
needs to go. It's
so,
a
yeah,
habitual.
his was recently was in jail for 14 months for burglary, and doggone it, apparently he wanted to go back. So in the Euro finals, which just has been very recently, outside a bar in England, there was a brawl from, the fans that, opposing got in a big fight. And of course, because everybody has cameras now, videos were made.
Uh-huh.
And but nobody knew who they were. Well, because people are dumb and they want to see themselves on TV or whatever, one of the individuals involved in the actual fight posted the video on their Facebook page
Hey,
and
that's
said,
me.
yeah, look what I did. The police were like,
Good
thank you for
gravy.
that.
Dumb,
And they all got arrested.
Very good.
Yep. So
All right, we're
Well.
going to take a break
Yep.
for a few days. We'll be back
Yep.
on Monday morning.
Mhm.
Becky Morton, two-time All-American in soccer at Methodist University, graduate of Jacksonville High School, is Chris Rayner's guest in the studio right after Fox News break coming up. Again, tomorrow night, John Jones will be performing on stage at the Rudy Theater in Selma. That is tomorrow evening, and I don't have a time for it, but you can call for tickets at 919-202-9927. And we will see you on Monday morning. And no doubt we're going to have a whole lot more. We got our North Carolina Senator,
Yes,
Mike Lazar,
Monday.
will join us
Yes.
Monday morning. So stay tuned for that. Have a great weekend. Oktoberfest is this weekend. A lot's going on. Just pick some things you want to see. Don't forget the Jacksonville High game tonight. If you can't get up there to Winterville, you can listen to it right here on WSMA 971.com, freedom971.com. freedom971.com, I think it is.
And you can
Yes.
early vote tomorrow.
WSME971.com.
That's it.
That's
what I
it.
was saying.
Yeah.
And early voting is underway.
Yeah, and you can do it tomorrow if you can't do it
Do
today.
it tomorrow.
Yep.
You're covered. You're safe.
Live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1 at 11:20 a.m. We'll see you Monday.